Our next pair of cars into the water, and then out with smoking tires.
In the far lane is John Campbell of Compton, California. Here you see John, a trucking company operator in the local Southern California area. He is up against a machine shop owner from the Northwest Portland, Oregon, Big Jim Bernard, who has traveled this entire 12-event circuit this year and has done quite well performance-wise, but just has not quite well enough, David.
His crew chief, Lee Beard, in checking over the car. I tell you, this has been rather surprising car to a lot of people this season because Bernard normally races up in the Northwest, but he decided, let's go on tour this year, and he has surprised a lot of people.
All right, Campbell is away from the mark first, but suddenly we see oil, and then the oil is ignited by the header flames. A brief fire. Campbell is okay and shuts it off. Bernard wins it at 581, 238 miles an hour, but that's what 12 quarts of drag racing oil looks like on fire.
This is Jim Bernard, the Northwind car out of Oregon, rolling out of the water and then smoking those tires on the burnout, as every car does in competition.
He will be up against, in the far lane, Jim Head of Dublin, Ohio. This is Jim Head. He's a graduate engineer, has experimented with computers mounted on this car, David. I don't know if they're there today or not.
And Jim Bernard, as we told you earlier, has been campaigning throughout the year on all of the NHRA national event sites and has done exceptionally well.
Now, Jim Head is the first to pre-stage. You see in the right lane. Now, Bernard with the top yellow light on. Bernard is ready, and Head is ready.
The light goes green, and it is Jim Head streaking away from the starting line. Head with almost 0.2 of a second advantage off the starting line, and folks, that's what's called a hole shot.
But, as you can see, it was Jim Bernard had the power to come from behind at 591, 234 miles an hour. He is going to have to tune up his starting line reflexes for sure. It certainly did. Up next will be Jim Bernard, the car called the Northwind from Portland, Oregon, up against Joe Amato in the right-hand lane.
Joe Amato has had the role of the spoiler thus far at this event. Let's see how far he can go. Steve's with Jerry Beck right now. I'm sure Jerry Beck is. He's got low elapsed time of the meet in eliminations thus far with that outstanding 5.62s. That's smoking the tires. But that was history. This is present tense, and this is current time. Jim Bernard against Joe Amato.
And Jim Bernard has had to come from behind the previous 2 rounds, and he's going to have to do it again. A big hole shot for Joe Amato. Amato's going to win. No, he's not going to win.
Oh, what a close race, and it looked like in just the last few inches, Jim Bernard streaked past Joe Amato to take the victory. Joe Amato, as we said earlier, cast in the role of the spoiler. He does a tremendous driving job here. His car responds perfectly. He's got 0.06 of a second hole shot on Jim Bernard. But watch now as Bernard comes on with a horsepower at the finish line, 250 miles an hour to pass Joe Amato and take the victory. The winner of this will also take home the event title. Jim Bernard against Jerry Beck.
Jim Bernard's first ever final round appearance in major NHRA competition. Jerry Beck, who at this point seems to be unstoppable. But if you look back over the season, Beck seems to always have some kind of problem. Bloody luck has not been with the Larry Minor crew this year. It has certainly been there as far as elapsed times are concerned, but they have not won a race all year. Looking to make it 2 in a row here at the World Finals.
Bernard is in the far lane, and here's Jerry Beck smoking the tires, and it is Bernard streaking ahead across the finish line. Jim Bernard, exploding an engine, takes the win. His elapsed time only 5.92 seconds, but as Jim Bernard would tell you, who cares? The point is, he got there before Jerry Beck, and that means Jim Bernard is the NHRA Winston World Finals champion. Steve?
This man has been racing for 15 years, waiting for this moment, and anytime you're up against Jerry Beck, there's always the chance that he may make too much power. And Jim, I think that's what happened. He smoked the tires.
He smoked the tires. I didn't know what happened. He was there for a second and then gone. I know I had my hands full. She went to the right, and then she went, and it shook, did everything it wasn't supposed to do. I didn't know how I won the race, but we did it.